at the Bellamy Genn reception at MACO at Sunset Grille. What a beautiful, you get the seagulls, you get the birds. We live outside in the stars, but it's coming soon. Next we have Miss Monisha. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Great. How you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling great. Another night at MACO. Like, what more can I ask for?
I love it. So tell people about who you are and what you do.
Sure. My name is Monisha Henley. I'm the Senior Vice President in Government Affairs at EveryTown for Gun Safety, one of the nation's largest gun safety organizations. We are made up of moms, students, survivors, mayors, and we're really addressing the issue of gun violence in this country.
I love that. I love that because there's a lot of things going on right now.
Just a few.
Y'all been busy for the last couple months. Actually, last couple years.
We've been busy for a decade.
A decade? That's a long. See, okay, I was trying to give a little bit, but it's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
So, is this your first time at MACO?
This is not my first MACO.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about your MACO history.
Sure. So the first time I came was 2019. I was told this is the place where you have to be. If you're going to do anything in Maryland, this is where all the electeds are, where the leaders are, where the community is. And if you're really wanting to make sure that you understand how to be influential in Maryland, you show up to MACO.
And what's your favorite thing about MACO?
The Crab Fest.
Last year was my first year.
What?
I was nervous. I wasn't ready for it.
So I have to say, I'm from Delaware, and I've been more MACOs than you have.
Yes, you have. I was nervous last year. I had no idea.
You're going to have to up your game.
After we talk, I'm going to tell you the story about how I got invited.
Ooh.
It's a crazy story.
Ooh.
It's too spicy. We can't have it all
Okay, we'll save it. We'll save it.
We'll get back. So, can you tell me something you're very proud of this past session?
So Maryland's always been an incredible leader on this issue, and this session was basically above the rest. They were able to do 3 really impactful, life-saving bills. One is addressing guns in sensitive places, so making sure that firearms don't show up in our schools, in government buildings, at polling places. Another one is a bill around access for firearms, secure storage, making sure that children don't access our firearms when they're at our home, requiring storage laws to keep them safe out of the hands of children.
I love that. Now, did it take you a couple years to get that passed? Or
Yes,
was
it did.
Okay.
Yes, this is like a legacy bill that we've been working on for my entire time at EveryTown, so about 5 sessions.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's 5 years.
Yeah, that's right. And it got done. And it finally got done.
So when those bills passed, what did you do? What was the reaction? How did you feel? Like when you heard them say, tell us a sneak peek. Like, I know you had to be jumping for joy.
No, like literally jumping for joy. Especially when you've been working on something for that long, knowing that gun violence is the leading cause of death for children and teens, and knowing this is something that's going to address that issue, it's like elation, right? You're like ready to scream at the top of the mountain.
So how can, like myself, the people that are here in the audience, how can we all get involved?
So it's really simple. You can text ACT, A-C-T, to 64433, and you'll get a text message from us, and you'll learn how to get involved.
I love it. So I'm gonna get you one last question. Where can we find you on social media? Are you guys TikToking? What's the young generation? I don't know. Or is it the X right now? I don't know.
So you can find us on Instagram at EveryTown or at Moms Demand Action.
Hey, you heard it first. You heard it live. Miss Monisha in the house. We're going to talk a little bit later off camera about my first
I can't wait to hear it. It's going to be spicy like the crabs.
It's spicy like crabs. But like Old Bay and J.O. combined. Hey, folks, we'll be right back after these messages.
Thank you.
Thank you. How was that? And folks, we are back at Bellamy Genn. What an amazing evening. It's a packed house. People are enjoying themselves, having libations, music. And we have a special guest here. The mayor of Baltimore, Sir Brandon Scott. How are you, sir?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
Man, I'm happy to see you, brother. I'm really happy to see you.
Good to see you. We traveled 2.5 hours. We could have traveled 4 minutes at home. But we're good to go. We're good to be here at MACO. Good to be here at Bellamy Group. We're glad to be here. We knew bringing all of Maryland together is always a great event. So I'm so happy to see my fellow Northeast Baltimore brethren here at MACO.
I love it. I mean, remember last year we set the crab table. We're going to do it again this year?
Absolutely. You know it.
And make sure we do it. And also on top of that, I want to make it's the one. And also on top of that, we want to make sure that everybody knows what's going on. Why do you come to MACO?
Well, listen, we always are trying to work with our partners in the counties around the state, and we know that Baltimore is Maryland City, but we have to look at ourselves as one region, but also one state, working and learning with our county partners, sharing information with them, and vice versa. This is why we all come here, right? It's not, a lot of folks think it's just about coming and having a good time, and yes, fun is had, but a lot of work gets done here. When you think about the policy discussion, when you think about the economic development discussions, legislative discussions that happen, that's why we all come to MACO, to be together amongst each other and share best practices and learning from each other.
So you came out with some amazing news the other day. What was the amazing news with statistics you came out with crime?
Well, listen, it's every day for us.
Right.
So every morning when I wake up at 5:30, I'm looking at where we are with violence in Baltimore. And right now, we are running a 24, almost 25% reduction in homicides. Violent crime is down overall. Carjackings are down 35%. And we're doing that in a way by focusing in on the complexity that is violence, right?
I love
Not just putting all the responsibility on law enforcement, but we know our police play an important part. They seized over 1,700 illegal guns, but we're not just going after those individuals with the guns anymore. We're going after the traffickers. We're going after the manufacturers. That's why I've been suing gun companies. We're going to be going after stores. Whoever is participating in the flow of illegal guns into the city, we will be going after every single individual, company, organization that deals with that. But we're also focusing in through our group violence reduction strategy on the small groups of people who are the most at risk of being a victim or perpetrator of violence, and telling them this is their last chance to change. If they want that change, we have all the resources through YAP, through our community services partners to get them a better way of life. But if they don't, then we'll bring the full weight of law enforcement, federal, local, and state down on them. And that's how we're doing it. And doing it when we have a police department going through a consent decree where internal affairs complaints are down and violence is down at the same time.
So how do you feel about, from MACO, standpoint, and for the laws and session, what was one of the proudest bills that you think went through that helps Baltimore out?
Well, I think there's so many, right? And I'm always going to be thinking about education bills. We know that the stuff around that, when you think about the stuff that the governor was able to do for us in the budget, right? That's the most important thing for us, right? To make sure that we're able to fully fund our schools, to make sure that we're able to support our agencies and departments. That is always going to be the most important, and we look forward to working with them on specific policies now, public safety related policies, environmental related policies, everything that we can to make Baltimore a better place.
So I heard you got a hoops game.
I do tomorrow night.
Lace them up,
lace them up, bring the cameras, it don't matter, whatever you want to do. Just know that I'm going to score.
Hey, well, you know the name of the show, No Picks. I can't have no picks after dark. The game going to be a nighttime.
Look,
I can't even see the game.
No, look, the game can be live streamed for all I care. It can be a live stream from Mayor Scott's MACO basketball game, No Picks After Dark, and it'll be lots of threes hit after dark by the mayor.
Mr. Mayor, thank you for coming out. Thank you for hanging out. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Any last words you want to say?
Everybody, have fun, stay safe, and if you want to bet on something, bet in Baltimore, Orioles, World Series, Ravens, Super Bowl, book it.
Thanks, sir. And folks, we are back live at the Bellamy Genn party reception at MACO. This is an amazing night. We're having such a great time. People are enjoying libations, eating food. I see lamb chops over there. My guys eating lamb chops. I see you, big guy. I see you over there. So we have a very, very special guest coming on. The Lieutenant Governor of Maryland, Ms. Aruna. How are you doing?
I am doing awesome, Aaron. How are you doing?
Hey, it's sweating, it's hot, but I'm here. We're having a good time.
I wouldn't call it sweating. I'd call it your glistening.
Ooh, glistening. I like that. I like glisten. I like that word. I like that. So how has the first 6 months been for you in office?
I don't know any other word to describe it other than extraordinary. Okay? When you think about my story, I'm an immigrant to this country. I'm an engineer. I'm a woman of color. Probably the three qualities here that are the farthest away from a person being elected. And to be able to represent the people of Maryland is just the pinnacle of everything that I've always wanted to do, because I've been a public servant my entire adult life. And to be able to represent people now is really extraordinary.
I mean, so I have a huge audience all across the state of Maryland, heavily in Baltimore. Tell us something that we may not know about you. Tell us something that we might not know about you from people from the Baltimore listeners. Something unique.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you that when I came to this country, my first day of school was the most important lesson I learned about what it means to be a leader, a human being, an active citizen. Okay.
I love that.
So I came here and I didn't know a word of English. So this is upstate New York, Poughkeepsie, New York.
You know in the college upstate New York, right?
Really?
Syracuse.
No kidding.
Yeah,
All right.
okay,
Good to
Poughkeepsie. I
know.
know by Annapolis. I'm not by Albany.
Okay,
That's
Albany.
Albany area up there, Poughkeepsie. Yeah, okay.
Of course.
I know the area.
All right. Well, I share this story a lot because it's something that really had a powerful impact on my life and where I am today. So I walk into the classroom. I don't know a word of English. I don't look like any of the kids in the classroom. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to fit in with all these kids. What do I do? So at lunchtime, I decided the best way to fit in is I'm going to copy everything that they're doing. I figured that was the only way I could fit in. So I eat American food for the first time. I see them drinking cold milk, so I drink cold milk for the first time. And I'm feeling pretty good. I'm like, okay, I think I won these classmates of mine over. And I'm walking back very proudly to the classroom, get back, proceed to vomit all over my desk.
I believe it.
Right?
I believe it. I believe it.
All right. So then my mom is called. I'm crying hysterically. I go home and I tell her I don't want to stay in this country anymore. I want to go back to grandma.
Wow.
And I hate cold milk. I never want to drink it again, right? By the end of the day, we hear a knock at the door. I open the door, and standing in the snow is one of my classmates with a stack full of paintings with hearts and smiley faces, tears coming down, others.
Oh, wow.
And it was that simple gesture of that educator who told the kids to know the pain that I was going through and to help me fit in. And that is the power of compassion and empathy for others. That is the first lesson I learned in America, and it's been the most important lesson in everything that I've done.
Thank you for sharing that story with the audience.
Sure.
I'm blown away. I'm ready. I'm taking notes over here like, I can't wait to talk a little bit more about that. So we got you here, and so what are some things that you've learned over, so you did 6 months, but what bills are you proud that passed? What bills are you really happy about?
Well, I got to tell you, every one of them we're proud of, right?
Okay, there's a lot.
There's a lot.
Okay.
So, first off, Governor Moore is an extraordinary leader, right?
Yes.
He's someone with a vision. He's got the, compassion. That's where everything he does comes from. So we introduced 10 pieces of legislation this session.
Okay.
And every one of those pieces of legislation passed with bipartisan support. But I got to tell you,
Wow.
yeah, and we have been the most successful first-term administration of passing legislation.
Congratulations.
Thank
We
you.
got to give a round of applause a little bit. They up there, but I love hearing that. So you guys are a lot, you're in the Eastern Shore a lot. You're here quite a bit. What is the importance of investing in the Eastern Shore communities? Why is that so important?
Because every community in the state of Maryland is important. And Governor Moore and I ran on a mission that we will leave no one behind. We need to hear from the Eastern Shore, Mountain Maryland, Baltimore City, the suburbs, from every corner of the state, because we are here to represent the people. We need to represent all the people, so we need to hear the concerns. And Governor Moore and I believe that those closest to the challenge are closest to the solutions.
I love hearing that. I mean, I've seen you in Baltimore a lot. I'm like, shit, the Orioles game? Oh, okay.
Love those Orioles. Aren't they doing great?
I see you down there. And then the red line announcement, I saw that.
That red line.
I saw you. You've been all right. So you've been in the
better
city.
believe it.
So we appreciate that from people from Baltimore. We like you guys coming through and saying hi.
Thank you.
We were forgotten for a little bit, so we haven't been to that. But, so what do you, MACO, this is your first MACO, second MACO? How many MACOs have you been to?
This is my second MACO.
Okay.
So my first one was last time when we were running in the campaign.
So what was your favorite part about MACO last year?
Last year, I think it was when they had the Crab Fest.
Oh.
And so I go over to Wes at the time, right? And I go, Wes, you were here 1 year before me. How is it? And he's like, let me tell you, Aruna, it's totally different. I go, really? How so? Is there more people here? He goes, no. He said, when I came in 2021, nobody wanted to talk to me. He goes, in 2022, after the primary, all of a sudden everybody wanted to talk to him. And I thought that was really funny that he had said that.
That makes sense because, I mean, I did the podcast last year, and a lot of people heard about me. This year, I can't. I'm literally getting phone calls at 12 o'clock. Hey, can you come on the show? You're in MACO. I'm like, whoa. I got a lot of things going on. We got to make it happen. They're like, can you come and do an interview tomorrow night? So I get that feeling.
Yeah.
It's a blessing to be wanted. It's really a blessing.
Well, you know, Aaron, I think the great thing about your podcast is it's organic. Right? Because I read about you, and you said that it was by accident, right?
Yes.
Your son was born, you're
Yes.
like, okay, how can I share these stories with him?
Somebody did their homework.
Yeah,
Somebody
I did
their
my homework. And I think that's what people sense in you. They see the authenticity of you. And that's why you're so popular. And you've been, People's Choice
Best
Award.
of Baltimore for 4 years in a row.
There you go.
So it's
authenticity.
You're about to make me tear up over here, Lieutenant Governor. You're about to have me tear up. So we're going to do a really fun thing, speed round.
All right.
Ready?
Shoot.
Flats or drums for chicken wings?
Oh, chicken wings is, okay.
Flats or drums?
I'm gonna say tofu chicken wings.
You switched up. No meat.
No
Okay.
meat.
Okay. Blue cheese or ranch?
Ranch.
Oh, now the governor said he likes the blue cheese.
Nah,
chunk.
ranch
Oh.
every way.
Right. Snowballs or ice cream?
Ice cream.
So you know you got to get the egg custard in Baltimore. You
Yeah,
gotta come to the
I
egg
know. I
custard.
like both of them.
Okay.
Well, you know, one of my favorites is Ritas.
Oh,
Do you have Ritas in Baltimore?
We do have Ritas,
Okay.
but we like snowballs. And we like the
Snowballs.
real,
Okay.
like down home mom and pop's place.
Okay, well,
when you come next, we're gonna find you. Get you.
You betcha.
We gotta get
Check
you
it
on.
out.
All right. Crabs or crab cakes?
I like vegetarian crab cakes.
Okay.
I make those.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
they're
I gotta
really
find
good.
out. Winter or summer?
Summer.
Okay.
And the beach.
The beach. And what is your favorite NFL Super Bowl halftime show?
All of them are great, right? Every year they get better and better, but my favorite had to be when Paul McCartney was on it.
Oh, wow.
But that was way
I
back
thought
when.
See, my favorite is Michael Jackson.
Yeah, Michael
Because
Jackson.
he disappeared and came back. And then my favorite is Purple Rain with Prince.
Oh.
Because he started playing Purple Rain and it rained.
Yes.
At the Super Bowl.
Yes,
So,
yes,
I mean,
yes.
That's just I'm a big Prince fan, but
Yeah, he's
that's what
awesome.
we really appreciate. So thank you for coming on.
Thank
We're
you.
going to do a long form next time.
I would
We're
love
gonna
that, Aaron.
sit back and really just get behind the scenes and talk with you and learn a little bit more about you. But thank you so much for what you're doing for the state of Maryland. Thank you so much for what you're doing. And thank you for being a pioneer, for being who you are.
Well,
we really
Aaron-
appreciate you.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you for being at the forefront of sharing information and stories of the extraordinary people in the state of Maryland.
All right, folks, we'll be right back. And folks, we are back live at Bellamy Genn. This reception is off the hook. It's loud. People are enjoying themselves, the drinks, libations, the food's amazing. And we have a great guest coming on. We have Delegate Vanessa Atterbeary. How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Hey, I'm enjoying myself. I'm enjoying the beautiful weather. It's Ocean City. Where else would I want to be?
It's amazing. It's a beautiful night, and this is such a great turnout for this reception. So I'm so excited. So excited.
Tell people a little bit about yourself who may not know who you are.
So I'm Delegate Vanessa Berry. I am from Howard County, Maryland, and I have been in office since 2014, and I currently chair the Ways and Means Committee.
Uh-oh, that's important.
A little bit, yes.
Uh-oh. That's all. Congratulations. That's
Thank you.
Awesome. That's awesome. So can you tell us about some of the bills that you worked on in the past or legislative last session?
So some of the things that I'm really proud of that I've worked on, one is the age of marriage bill. It used to be in Maryland that you could get married at 15, 16, or 17, and exactly that look on your face is what exactly. And it took me 7 years to pass it so that that's not the case. And you essentially, after you're 17 and jump through a bunch of hoops, you have to be 18. So I'm very, very proud of that. That took 7 years to pass. We could talk about that for like 2 hours. You can do a whole show on that.
We're gonna do a show on
You
that.
can do a whole show on that. And something else that I'm really, really proud of that I worked on with the Bellamy Group and with EveryTown is requiring background checks for if you buy a rifle, a long gun. And so I'm very, very proud of that. That took a couple years to pass, but that's significant given the gun violence going on in our country. Just making sure people who shouldn't have guns don't have guns.
Wow. We got to give you the flowers. Congratulations.
Thank you.
7 years is a long time.
It's a long
but
time.
Guess what? You made it happen.
Thank
so
you.
Kudos to you.
Thank you.
So, can you share, have you ever been to MACO before?
I have been a few years ago. I'm actually usually away with my family during this time, so but I'm back this year, so I'm excited to be back.
So tell people about MACO. What's your favorite thing about MACO? Well, I've been hearing a lot of the crab, they call it all-you-can-eat crabs. What else?
My favorite part is just seeing everybody and kind of being together in a more relaxed environment, and it's not all business, and just building those relationships and seeing people you haven't seen since we were in session this past winter. It's just great to see everybody and feel the energy, like the energy right here tonight.
I mean, this is the party to be at right now.
It is.
I mean, this is the party. So, I guess for MACO, what bills are you looking at next year that you're trying? Can you give us a sneak peek, maybe?
A sneak peek.
That you really want to work on?
So that's always the question. I don't know what the big bills are going to be coming next year. Me personally, I'm just going to, there's my beautiful vice chair,
Okay.
Delegate Jheanelle Wilkins. So I'm just looking forward to getting the committee back together, working through revenue issues, i.e. taxes, working through iGaming is coming, gambling on your phone. That's going to be a big one. So that's coming up. That's going to be huge.
Are you guys dealing with the cannabis at all, taxes?
So their delegate chair, C.T. Wilson, is over there with his back to us. He passed the cannabis legislation. So voters overwhelmingly this past election voted for it. And it was his bill that did the regulations and how it would work.
Okay.
So that was his bill, yeah.
Okay. I'm just trying to feel it out.
Yeah. So hopefully we won't have anything huge related to cannabis. Maybe like some cleanup things.
Right.
But nothing big.
Well, I'm going to do a quick speed round with you, okay? Quick speed round.
Oh gosh, okay.
Chicken wings, okay? Flats or drums?
Flats.
All right. What about blue cheese or ranch?
Ranch.
See there, you got me gone now. I need a chunk. I need the blue cheese. So, all right, crabs or crab cakes?
Crab cakes.
Okay,
Sorry.
I'm a crab for that. Because you know what? Everybody puts their hands down. No, there's no song. There's no song. We talking.
Yeah, I like crab cakes. But, I mean, if you're doing, king crab legs.
Oh, you getting now? You getting
I
fancy.
do that.
Now we getting fancy.
I said I was from Howard County.
Hey, listen. And then your favorite Super Bowl halftime show?
Oh, gosh. My favorite Super Bowl halftime. I mean, can it be controversial?
It can be whatever you would like.
I mean, first of all, Rihanna did the thing pregnant.
She did.
She did the thing pregnant.
She did.
I love Rihanna. I love some Janet Jackson.
Ooh, I like Janet. That was a good one.
That show was a little controversial.
I'm a big Prince one. It's a Purple Rain and Rain.
Prince is iconic.
Yeah.
So all of those are amazing. So I don't know how you can pick.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming out.
You didn't ask me lemon pepper or Old Bay.
Oh, you knew my homework. You did your homework on me. Lemon pepper Old Bay wings.
That's the argument in our house. But right now I have 3 kids. We're a lemon pepper house.
I'm Old Bay. See, I'm Old Bay honey.
That's my son.
Oh,
my middle
goodness.
son
Old Bay
will
honey?
get mad at me if I get Old Bay and not Old Bay honey.
Oh, it's a whole different difference. It's a whole difference.
That's
Old Bay
my
honey.
son. That's my son.
Look at you. You yelled at me, but you watch the show. Well, we appreciate you. And I would love to meet, talk with you, do a long forever show.
Absolutely.
And you really get behind
Absolutely.
things. Thank you so much for your
Thank
time.
you for having me.
All right.
Thank you.
Folks, we are back. It's live and direct at Bellamy Genn. What an amazing reception, MACO 2023. We have Delegate Jheanelle Wilkins.
Yes,
How are you?
I am great. Delegate Janelle Wilkins. Glad to be here.
Okay. And
Hi, Madam Chair.
okay, and what did I heard you got a big title up there up in there. What's your big title?
Well, I'm the chair of Legislative Black Caucus of Maryland, the largest Black caucus in the country. And I'm also the vice chair of the Ways and Means Committee.
Boy, I gotta pay my bills. Make sure y'all come after me.
Pay those taxes
Pay
now.
those taxes, boy. Baltimore City tax mayor. I'm sorry you're here, but it's hi. Hey, hi.
Woo.
Hey, hi.
Woo.
What's up? So we out here, and just I want to tell people a bit about you who may not know anything about you.
Sure, absolutely. So I was born in Kingston, Jamaica.
Hey.
Hey. I grew up in Delaware, came here to this area in Maryland for grad school, really enjoyed the state, started getting involved in politics, trying to make a difference, testifying on different issues, and I was first appointed to the House in 2017, and so I have served for 7 years now in the Maryland General Assembly.
That's a massive number, right? I heard 7 years earlier from somebody else tonight.
It's a good number.
It's a good number. So can you tell me some of the bills that Black Caucus has worked on that passed legislation this past year for session?
Absolutely.
Okay.
A lot of our agenda passed this year. Every session, we come up with a robust Black agenda for that session around what we want to see passed. Some of the things I'm most proud of include dealing with the cancer disparity. We know that when it comes to breast cancer, Black women are 40% more likely to die as a result of breast cancer. We passed a bill to make sure that when someone comes in for a screening, the screenings are free, right? So people come in, they get screened, but if they find something or that you need further tests, those are not free. The diagnostic testing, the imaging. So we made sure that insurance will actually cover now, because of the Black Caucus legislation, the follow-up diagnostic tests that are needed. That was something I'm really proud of.
I love hearing that. I
Yes.
love that. That's
Yes.
beautiful. I love, I really look at women who are getting pregnant and death pregnancy.
Yes.
And I know that's really high in the American community. And I just love that you guys just trying to do things out there to help.
Absolutely.
Help women out. I really appreciate
Yes.
hearing that. So a shout out to you guys on that. So what are some things that were essential? That were essential for you guys, besides that, essential that you had to
Absolutely.
make sure they cross the finish line.
Absolutely. So cannabis legalization was huge.
Huge.
Yes, July 1st, Maryland legalized for adult use 21 and up. But the challenge is we have to figure out, the voters said yes, right? Last year, over 67%, almost 70% said, yes, we would like to legalize in Maryland. We voted it out on the ballot. But what does that look like? Who gets a license to sell it? How do we make sure that Black people in particular, who've been most impacted by the criminalization, get to generate wealth and be a part of the systems? That was a huge challenge for us to figure out this session. So I'm proud of the bill that we passed. As part of the bill, only social equity applicants will be able to get licenses in Maryland, meaning that you are part of a disproportionately impacted community. When it comes to, when we look at arrests, who was arrested, the areas where most people were getting arrested previously for cannabis, that those are the people who can apply to get a license as part of our legislation.
I love hearing that. That's very important.
Yes.
So can you talk about the importance of having 4 HBCUs in Maryland?
Absolutely.
And how can the state invest in that, making sure that we really get that? Because right now, with everything going on with affirmative action changing,
Yes.
let's talk a little bit about that.
Yes, absolutely. So we are so proud the Legislative Black Caucus of Maryland partners with our 4 HBCUs. Not only do we have 4 HBCUs in Maryland, we're the only state to have 4 public, 100% public HBCUs, which means that they need our support and our partnership, right? These are not private institutions. These are public institutions for the people. And one of the things we have to do is make sure that we are providing support, especially in the sense of making sure that we have rules in place so that duplication of programs is not taking place. There's a lot of competition, right? If I have a wonderful business program and then the university down the street creates a business program, there's a lot of competition that's going on. So a lot of people don't know this, but HBCUs and other institutions, we have to make sure that they are not having to unfairly compete and deal with duplication. That's actually a big thing that we're supporting our HBCUs on. And then funding. We
know that.
Yes. We were able to help win a $577 million lawsuit, 2021. And so we're making sure that our HBCUs get their funds because they were so underfunded that to settle the lawsuit, it was $577 million for that settlement.
Wow, folks, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And we gotta do a long. I'm gonna reset with you and do a long interview
that would
so
be
we can really
great.
break down and really, because like I said, we have limited time.
I would love that.
But I'm going to end it on this. What do you want people to walk away with from just what the Black Caucus has done and what you're trying to do going forward?
Absolutely. I want them to know who we are, that we've been around since 1970. We are the Black voice when it comes to making the laws and the policy of the state of Maryland. I want them to know that we're setting our priority agenda right now for our 2024 session. So they can come out, they can let their members that represent them, especially their Black members or myself, know what they want to see us work on. They can come September 18th. We're playing a virtual town hall, so follow us on social media to find out the details about that, and you can come out and sign up and talk to us about what you want to see us working on.
I love that, folks. I love that. I'm not going to let you off the hook on this. I got
Absolutely.
chicken wings, flash with drums.
Oh, always the flats.
Okay,
And blue
all right.
cheese.
Blue cheese. Oh, she already know. She already know.
Yes,
All right. So hold on. Your coworker said, all right, honey Old Bay or lemon pepper?
I'm going to Honey Old Bay for sure.
Oh, you already know.
For
You
sure.
already know. Snowballs or ice cream?
Ooh, see, I'm going to go with the soft serve ice cream.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna let you slide on that one.
Let me
Crabs
slide.
or crab cakes?
Oh, crabs for sure.
All right. Your favorite halftime NFL show? Super Bowl.
Rihanna, no doubt.
Okay. Oh, appreciate you, Delegate.
Absolutely.
We're gonna run it back with some later on the show. Okay?
Yes, let's do it. I
All
love
right.
that.
Thank you.
All right.
And folks, we are back. What an amazing evening at the Bellamy Genn reception at MACO. It's hot, but we going, it's like Nelly, we hot in here, but we're gonna have a good time. We have some amazing guests to my left. You know, I feel like my back hurt, my neck hurt, and all this stuff.
You're just old, that's all. You're just old.
No, so Miss Gracelyn McDermott right here, right? And then Miss Allison Taylor, how you doing? And you guys are with Kaiser Permanente, right?
We're with Kaiser. We are with the Kaiser Permanente of the Mid-Atlantic states.
Oh, the Mid-Atlantic.
The Mid-Atlantic states.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about you both, you guys, real quick.
I'm, like you said, Gracelyn McDermott. I am the Vice President of Marketing, Sales, and Business Development for Kaiser Permanente. I actually work for Kaiser Foundation Health Plan of the Mid-Atlantic states, and between that and the Permanente Medicine Group, the two groups, which is the Permanente Medicine Groups are the physicians, and the Kaiser Foundation Health Plan are all the administrative services surrounding that support our physicians. Together, we are Kaiser Permanente. And in my role as Vice President of Marketing, Sales, and Business Development, I am responsible for growth and retention of our members.
And she does a great job of it.
And what about you, Miss Allison?
I'm Director of Government Relations for Kaiser Permanente, and I do their Maryland State Affairs work and some work local government in D.C. as well.
Okay,
And she does a very good job as well.
I want some heavy hitters here. I gotta make sure I come correct on this. Let me make sure check my notes real quick. But thank you guys. So, COVID happened. What you guys learn about healthcare when COVID happened? What was the importance of having healthcare? Because there's a lot of things going on, and people are still dealing with some things with COVID. But what have you guys learned through the pandemic?
Well, you know, when the pandemic hit, one of the biggest things that I think was an eye-opener for several individuals was the healthcare disparities and the fact that access to healthcare, affordability of healthcare was not widespread. That's not something that we learned during COVID. We'd known this for quite some time, and most of the people in healthcare are aware of that. But what was different is now you have a situation that impacted every single individual in the entire country, so now everybody knows. The question now is, what do you do about that? And we are doubling down really now that people see this as an issue, particularly healthcare disparities, access to healthcare, and really driving home, bringing people together, convening people together to get to the point where we finally address it.
And I would say another thing we learned was, we really need to meet our members where they're at. When the pandemic hit, we had always been a leader in telehealth, but we had to switch from about 15 to 20% telehealth to 90% telehealth basically overnight. So, obviously we're not doing anywhere near that level anymore, but it's been a really good way for us to really try some new things out and really see what our members want and how we can evolve and make sure that we're staying at the top of our game.
No, I like hearing about healthcare because it's so, to me, complicated. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of things, but with COVID, it exposed a lot. I mean, I have friends that I didn't know who didn't have healthcare. I didn't when they had COVID, And so I thank you guys for being on the forefront. Because, before that, who was going telehealthing? I wasn't telehealthing. Now it's like if I'm sick, no, don't come in. Let's look at you through that screen, that Zoom screen, which is cool. So I really appreciate that you guys are doing that. How has that affected your business? Are you a lot more people on telehealth now where they don't want to come in, or How's that working out?
Yeah, what's interesting, as Allison said, before COVID, 15 to 20% of all of our care was delivered via telehealth. That means the rest of it was in person. When we switched to COVID, during COVID, we couldn't come in. You just couldn't do it. So that is 80 to 90% of care. And we actually thought that now that there's been an uptick, we have high satisfaction levels on both the member and the provider side, that this really was going to drive telehealth as a preferred option. The truth of the matter is some people still want to come in. And sometimes they've asked me well, what's the right balance between telehealth and in-person visits? And I say, let's not talk about the balance between telehealth and in-person visits. It's all about getting the right care at the right time in the right place.
Right.
So really, it's making sure that you have a patient-centered, member-centered healthcare plan where some people, telehealth is going to work, and in most cases, telehealth is going to be the best case. We have opportunities where whether it's video visits, it's email, it's chat with a nurse, whatever modality you choose, you can access care. At the same time, we have 45 facilities across Maryland, D.C., and Virginia where you can come in and you can get your physical care. And that's not just primary care, but specialty care as well.
You changed my healthcare.
Well, that's the point. That's the point.
I'm about to call right now and be like, we need to change it tomorrow immediately, because you really just don't know what you're paying for. You don't know what you're doing. And I really believe education is so important with healthcare. And the more people know about it, the better. I mean, I know as a black male, I was always like, I'm not going to the doctor. I'm all right, And then my mom was like, you better get your butt to the doctor. So that's something very important that you got to see.
Very, very important. Again, like you said, especially young black men. You think you're healthy, you don't want to go. Really tragic situation occurred about a month ago. Healthy male in his early 50s had a heart attack. And you would think, oh my gosh, sudden heart attack, what happened? The point is that he hadn't gone in to get his preventative check-ins, and it happened that heart disease was in his family. It was hereditary. Now, just because it's hereditary doesn't mean that's a life sentence. You just have to know, and that there's things that you can do to make things better, and it's lifestyle changes that you can do to make things better so that you can live longer. And I believe that I may be wrong, I'm not the doctor, but heart attacks is one of the prevalent killers of black men.
Listen, I just got diagnosed with high blood pressure, so I know what it is. I'm on that pill, taking every night, but it's just change in lifestyle. When there's a craft feast on Friday at MACO, guess what? I'm gonna put a little water on it.
Everything in moderation. Yeah, you can indulge once in a while, but you really have to think about your well-being.
We talked earlier. I have a 4 and 2-year-old. I got some to live for. I got to make sure I'm around for them.
Yeah,
yes.
Sure, 100%.
We're going to do a longer format car interview because I really there's so much that we got unpacked, and that I'm so happy that you guys are talking about. Let's talk a little bit about the golf tournament a little bit. How did you guys become a sponsor of this? And why did you think it's a great cause? And how did you partner with Bellamy to get on this?
Okay. Well, I think to start, I probably should tell you a little bit about the history of the partnership that Kaiser Permanente has with Bellamy Genn.
Okay.
So I've been with Kaiser Permanente for a little over 7.5 years. Started out as the executive director of account management, where I was responsible for our existing business. And when I joined the organization in May of 2016, and that summer I had an account manager that said, you know what, we've got a ticket for you to go to MACO. All you have to do is book your hotel, but you need to go to MACO, because part of my portfolio was public sector and labor and trust, and just all the public sector and all the labor and trust people are going to be there. So I came having no idea what MACO was, what the experience was going to be like, and found out very, very quickly that this is the place to be when it comes to connections, convening, partnerships. And Lorenzo Bellamy was one of the people that I got introduced to. And we sat down, we had a conversation, I talked about where we wanted to go, what we wanted to do, and he said to me, he says, you're going to be the first person, but we're starting our own business. So I consider myself a founding client of Bellamy Genn.
Love that. I love
and
that. I love
those
that.
first couple years, Kaiser Permanente, we did a customer client appreciation event where we managed it ourselves. The third year, I looked at Lorenzo and I said, why don't we do this together? And that was the birth. And the golf, I got to say, that was Gil. Yeah.
Okay. I see the peanut gallery back there. I see them back there talking. So, what are the things you guys are going to roll out next year, coming out 2023, 24, that you guys go sneak peek, give us a little stick behind the curtains?
You want me to start?
You got anything?
Well, like I said, we talked a little bit about telehealth and access to care, and really what we're focused on is exactly what we were talking about first, is making sure that we've had multiple modalities of care and we're leaning in to the customer experience, the member experience. Because at the end of the day, yes, we have high quality care. By the way, I should tell you that if you were a Kaiser Permanente member, that you would live 6 years longer than the average non-Kaiser Permanente member. And as an African American, you'd live 8 to 9 years longer. That's because of the quality of our health care. So again, here you go.
Take all my money.
So we've got that down pat. So there's a refinement that we're doing on our digital health model. We've got partnerships with Teledoc, with mental health aspects, and really making sure that, again, and I'll repeat it, right time, right care, right person, right place.
And I would say we're always focused on quality and improving quality of care. Kaiser Permanente of the Mid-Atlantic is already the nation's top performing health
We're talking
plan.
5 stars.
Yeah, top performing health plan in the country. Any state, any health plan for patient outcomes. And so we want to continue to bring that forward and remain number one going.
I love hearing that. So we're gonna wrap this up in a real big bow. Okay.
Well, can I say one thing that's important that I think, for people listening, particularly over the next few months and into next year, you asked me about COVID and the pandemic and how it was impacted. And one of the things that we were able to do during COVID is we were able to provide not just Kaiser Permanente, but healthcare in general, care to people that otherwise couldn't afford it. So the Medicaid population, the care grew immensely. When the public health emergency ended, now we are finding that there are hundreds and thousands of people that are losing their care because they're no longer eligible for Medicaid. And we started seeing the disenrollments as early as June. What has happened is we're seeing is a good proportion of those people that are being disenrolled, it's for procedural things. So I am on a mission to make sure that we get the education out there. And this is not necessarily about Kaiser Permanente. This is about access to care in general. Is to make sure that people know the way that they can access care, because what I'm afraid of is that the uninsured population is going to suddenly rise again. And that's not where we want to be. That's going backwards, not forwards.
Usually you got a whole episode topic right there. That's a whole episode. She just gave me a whole episode. We're going to drop the mic on that. No, thank you ladies for coming on.
Thank you so much.
We're going to ask real quick, crab cakes or crabs?
Crabs.
Crab cakes.
Okay. Chicken wings, blue cheese, or chicken wings, flash or drums? Flash or drums chicken wings. Come on now.
As long as they got spice, I don't care.
Oh, come on. We got the flat or the drum. I'm picky about my chicken wings. I'm
going to get the drums then. Okay. I'm going to do the drums.
Blue cheese or ranch?
Neither.
Okay, all right. Honey Old Bay or lemon pepper?
Honey Old Bay.
Honey Old Bay.
All right. Snowballs or ice cream?
Ice cream.
I'm messing with y'all no more. Thank you, ladies, for coming on.
So much.
You guys are doing amazing things out here. We're going to do it. This is part one, because you guys broke down so much knowledge. In my mind, I'm like, this could be a serious about healthcare. I like this.
I like it too.
So thank you guys so much. Please be right back on these messages.
All right.
Thank you.
Folks, we are live at Bellamy Genn. What an amazing night. This has been a beautiful night. We're rolling off the best for last. Like that's what we always say, like Vanessa Berry, saving the best for last. Because Vanessa Berry is the Syracuse. It's a little tie-in. So, we have Miss Beth Ann. How are you doing today?
I am wonderful. I'm so glad to be here with you.
Tell the audience about who you are and what you do.
So I am the CEO and president of For All Seasons, and we're a mental health and rape crisis center. We're based on the mid-shore of Maryland, but we serve all 24 counties, and we work and specialize in trauma, mental health, rape crisis, and domestic violence.
I love it. So this is your first MACO. How are you enjoying it?
It is my first MACO. It is wonderful. This is a fantastic way to kick off the few days here. And I'm super excited because everybody got to pass by our offices on the way down coming to Ocean City.
I love it. I love it. How was the golf tournament? How was it?
I didn't go.
You didn't go?
I didn't go.
It was
We are a
hot.
huge sponsor, but I am not so good at golf. I watch it really well, but I'm not so
You
good
can hit a couple
at
balls
playing it.
around.
Nah, I'm not. Putt-putt is all I can do.
Nice, nice. And what are you looking forward to this week at MACO? Any speeches or any talks, anything like that you're looking forward to?
You know, we are the mental health agency, and we really believe that it needs to be integral. And you and I have so many conversations about how mental health shows up everywhere. And so as we are having to pivot and be innovative, we're really excited to bring our conversation to all of the legislators and the senators and the governor's office to be able to really help people understand how no matter who you are, no matter what life you touch, mental health is there, and it's really important that it becomes a day-to-day conversation. And we are in a place right now where our office is expanding, and we are trying our best to meet the need. We've totally changed the way that we do services. We've eliminated a wait list for folks who need mental health, which is huge right now.
Wow.
And so we are in the process of beginning to really talk about what it looks like to have a new headquarters, and that's our big priority right now.
Hey, I'm only a phone call away. Let me know. But I want to talk a little bit about your company. Tell us some of the things that you're very proud of that's happened the last couple months or last year that people may not know about.
So For All Seasons was at one point in time, 10 years ago, a very small mom and pop nonprofit. We were a $1.1 million company. We served just under 700 people. We now are a $9.5 million company serving over 3,000, and we continue to expand our services to meet the need. And that for us, over this last 18 months, we've gone from having a 6 to 9 month wait list to now having no wait list. People can walk in our office 5 days a week in set times and be seen that day and be connected to psychiatry services within 10 days.
Oh, man.
So,
you about to make me cry over here.
Well,
That's beautiful.
we're in a crisis, and people keep talking about COVID and how, COVID was a crisis, but the reality is the mental health crisis is ongoing, and we're all feeling mental health symptoms differently. And you and I talked about this back when we saw each other in Ocean City a couple months ago, moms and dads who had enough on their plate during COVID, that one more thing that's the tipping point. You talk about children with special needs, you talk about families that are trying to survive, trying to integrate children back into school, all of these day-to-day things where we are simply trying to keep the plates in the air. They're difficult to manage, and then you add one more thing, and when people are in crisis or when people need services, they can't be told, oh, come back in 6 months. We need to be able to serve our community now, and that's what For All Seasons is doing.
So you know what, people, there's going to be a part 2 of this, and we're going to actually record tomorrow at MACO for a real actual episode that will be coming out September, October, which will really, really be dope. Before you leave, where can people find you guys on social media?
You can find us on Facebook at For All Seasons Behavioral Health and RCC. You can find us on Instagram at For All Seasons Behavioral Health and RCC, and then also our website is forallseasonsinc.org.
I love it, folks. Again, thank you, Ms. Stephan. We're going to talk a little bit further with her this week. It'll be a great conversation. See her at the crab feast. Stop her, talk with her, and give her a shout out. Really appreciate you.
Thank you so much. So good to see you.
All right, bye.